Hey everyone, thanks so much for checking out my video. So I'm going to be going over the basics of hand lettering and calligraphy, specifically with a brush pen and also a regular pen, which I'll get into later. This is not a traditional calligraphy type of video, but if that is something that you want to see, then be sure to leave me a comment below because I'm totally down to make a video like that. So anyways, I'm hoping to teach you some basics and some things that you don't know already, so that way you can try your hand at hand lettering and calligraphy. And if you do, I would love, love, love to see your work. So be sure to tag me on Instagram at girlmeetsbujo, because it would be great to just kind of see what things you guys are creating. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in this video, I'm going to be using the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen, the Tombow dual brush pen, the Crayola super tip marker, and then lastly a regular ballpoint pen. I also am going to be using a 32-pound laser jet paper, and everything is linked down below. So first things first, before you even get into lettering, you want to be able to get your strokes down. So these are basic strokes that really help you to formulate letters. First you have an upstroke, which is really thin, a downstroke, which is thick, then you have an overturn, which starts thin and transitions to thick, an underturn, which starts thick, transitions to thin, and then a compound curve, which includes both the underturn and the overturn. And I actually have a free printable that you can use to practice with, so just check out the description box below and you'll have a free link to that. Then you also want to focus on line placement. So you have the X height, which is the middle line where I'm writing right now. You have the ascender, which is the top part of the D here, where it ascends above the X height. And then you also have the descender, which is this lower part of the Y. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind when you want to keep your lettering in line. And then it's also a good idea to practice your alphabet. I like to do like a full lowercase alphabet, and then I like to follow that up with a full uppercase alphabet. And what's fun about this is that you can maybe just go online and try to find different lettering styles and see which one works for you, because this is a very basic font that I'm using right now, but there's a lot of really formal fonts and things that are really fun and interesting to do. So I say this is a good time to kind of try different alphabets and see which one feels most natural to you. There are also different variations that you could do with your lettering. Here I'm just kind of showing a few examples of different ways you can draw the letter S, and then also different ways that you can draw the letter D. Now obviously you just kind of figure this out the more that you letter and the more that you practice. Then, of course, with variations, you also have stylistic ways of writing, such as this one, which is called bounce lettering, and you'll see that the baseline is kind of kept for some letters, and for other letters it's brought down below it. And that one you're going to just play around with and see what looks better for you. This next one is working with spacing, kind of just keeping the letters the same width, but just the lines in between them longer. And then this is kind of the opposite, and this is sort of compacting the words so that way it takes up less space. So now I want to get into the various types of brush pens you can use. I mean, obviously there's so many you can try, but these are the more popular ones, and they're the ones that I use. So the first is a Tombow. So this is great for doing like kind of larger art pieces because you can see that the brush is really, really thick. So it takes up a lot more of your paper, but it comes in gorgeous colors, and it writes really, really, really well. The next is also Tombow, but the first one was a dual brush pen. This is a Fudenosuke, and it is a much, much finer tip, and it writes really sharply and really well. They actually just came out with a colored line of these because prior they would only have them in black, so this is like a huge deal. So yeah. Then lastly is the Crayola Super Tips, which are definitely on the much more affordable spectrum. They're a little bit harder to work with, I think, personally, just because getting the thick and the thins, you really have to understand how to use that. So I wouldn't recommend those for beginners, but they are really fun. And then here I'm just trying to show you that using just any basic pen, you can create faux calligraphy. Now this is a gel pen. You can use a ballpoint pen, you can use a pencil, whatever you want. And essentially you write the word out, making sure to leave enough space in between the letters, and then you add your faux calligraphy lines. So then once that's done, you go through and you just simply fill in those spaces. I actually really like this look right here of it not filled in. That's just a different way of writing that's kind of fun. So if you want to add a little bit of a different look to your lettering, you can do that. Otherwise, you just fill it in, and there you have it. You have faux calligraphy, and didn't even need to buy a fancy brush pen. It's just whatever you have on hand. So that's it. I hope that you guys learned something helpful in this video, and if you did, please like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Alright, I'll see you in my next video.